A week later, when everything had finally calmed down, a special envoy from the Dragon Nation arrived in the Shukra Nation. He carried an important contract that could influence the future of both nations. The document clearly stated that the Shukra Nation wished to provide economic support to the Dragon Nation and was also willing to accept its security cooperation framework. As the terms were read, a quiet tension filled the room, hinting that this agreement might mark the beginning of a new alliance. The Dragon Nation official's name was Zhou Zhengguo. Sitting before him was the last remaining envoy of the Shukra Nation. He took the contract in his hands and began to read it carefully. When he finished reading, he paused for a moment, lost in thought. Just then, Zhou Zhengguo said calmly, "This will be the foundation of our cooperation, a kind of safeguard. It will ensure that you face no problems in the future and your country continues to thrive." With that, he slowly took out a pen and said in a low voice, "Once you sign this, you will become the supreme leader of the Shukra district under the Dragon Nation." All the other envoys of the Shukra Nation had already been killed. With no one left to stand beside him, he had no other choice. Slowly, he picked up the pen and began to sign the contract. As the ink dried on the page, the Dragon Nation's official said calmly, "We can begin rescue and reconstruction immediately." Then he extended his hand forward. The agreement was complete. The deal had been successfully sealed. The two men shook hands, both carrying a heavy sense of emotion. The Dragon Nation's officer then said, "From this moment on, the Venus Nation will be integrated as the Mishukra district of the Dragon Nation, and you will serve as its leader. In the future, we will move forward together. Our territory has grown larger today." The Shukra Nation and the Dragon Nation had finally become one. Across the country, grand celebrations erupted, streets filled with lights, voices, and a sense of relief that had been missing for a long time. Lu Fan watched the news quietly on his mobile device, a faint smile on his face. He felt genuinely happy. Deep down, he knew that in the coming days, stability would slowly return to the Shukra district. Social order would grow stronger again, step by step. The days of a broken nation were now part of the past. With the Shukra district joining it, the Dragon Nation had become even stronger, its influence and power expanding further than before. Because of the devastation that had struck the Sakura Nation, it had grown weak and vulnerable. Understanding how important it was to secure the territory, Lu Fan decided to stay temporarily on Tianfu Island so he could keep an eye on the situation and make sure no one tried to seize control of it. At the same time, he made another decision. Once everything was completely stabilized and the situation had improved, he would travel far to the distant north, searching for the massive dragon that looked like a snow dragon. And just as Elder Han had promised, according to the agreement, he would ensure that countless items rich in life energy were delivered to Tianfu Island almost every day. Because of these resources, the Life Dragon King would recover much faster. At the same time, the process of the life seeds maturing would improve significantly. Seeds that once needed an entire year to grow would begin showing different stages of development within just a month. At this pace, the life seeds might fully mature in only 3 months. In about 6 months, new seeds would be born. The constant supply of life energy-rich resources had greatly accelerated the Life Dragon King's ability to produce seeds, strengthening everything on Tianfu Island. At the same time, the Blue Dragon had grown even stronger, reaching level 68 and awakening the power called Blue of all things. The Dragon of Destruction spread its wings, unleashing 4 powerful wings, creating a whirlwind of wind capable of causing significant damage to any target in its path. Meanwhile, the Black Dragon had also advanced, reaching level 70. A new ability called Thunder Cloud had also been awakened. When used, it roared over a targeted area, summoning multiple bolts of lightning that crashed down from the sky. The storm it created dealt heavy lightning damage and could even paralyze enemies trapped within it. Even so, no one on Tianfu Island slowed down. Lu Fan's neighbor, Jian Ying, had also grown stronger, reaching level 50. Kim Ku's level had risen as well. Every day, people across the island actively searched for shadow creatures, constantly training and fighting. The main dragon's level had now reached 74, while the steel dragon had advanced to level 63. One by one, nearly all the dragons, and Lu Fan's companions too, were becoming stronger with each passing day. Slowly, about a month passed. One day, Lu Fan took a bottle of 100-year-old wine and flew into the sky. Now that the situation in Sakura District had completely settled down, he finally decided to head for the far north. Before leaving, everyone gathered to say goodbye. The next day, Lu Fan arrived above the Griffin Corps camp in the far north. As he arrived, a strange pressure filled the air. He immediately sensed it. As he went deeper north, the Blood Moon's true presence grew stronger. Each company station there seemed stronger than the last, as if a sleeping animal was slowly awakening. Lu Fan looked around and remembered what Senior 2 had said. As the Blood Moon's movements intensified, the Griffin Corps began retreating from their original camp, pulling their defensive line further back. Just then, several soldiers saw Lu Fan flying through the air. As soon as they saw him, they quickly drew their weapons and pointed them at him, ready to attack. Understanding the situation, Lu Fan immediately took out his badge and held it up. "Don't worry," he said calmly. "We're on the same side." As soon as the officers and soldiers recognized the badge, their expressions changed. They immediately apologized, greeted him with respect, and saluted him. As soon as Lu Fan descended to the ground, he smiled warmly and said, "I came to see Senior 2, and I've brought a very fine wine for him." The moment Senior 2 heard Lu Fan's voice, he immediately stepped forward from the camp, his expression lighting up with surprise and recognition. Uncle 2 and Lu Fan once worked together on the same team. Because of this, the man standing next to Uncle 2 recognized Lu Fan as soon as he saw him. Smiling teasingly, he called out, "Hey, you rascal, so you're here!" But the next moment, his eyes fell on Lu Fan's hand. Lu Fan held a golden medal insignia, a mark reserved only for special people. The atmosphere instantly changed. Both men straightened up, saluted, and quickly apologized. But Lu Fan remained completely casual. With a slight smile, he said, "Hey, Captain Lu, you're being too formal now. Even though I won the gold medal, I'm still the same rookie you trained back then, right?" For a while, everyone laughed together, remembering their old days. Jokes were made, and someone put a hand on Lu Fan's shoulder. "Yeah, brother," one of them said with a smile. "You've really gotten better. How long has it been? You're moving so fast, it feels like you're flying." From behind, Uncle Yu said affectionately, "Our team just returned from a mission yesterday and came to rest. And you're here today. This is really something special. It seems fate doesn't want us to be apart." But Lu Fan suddenly looked at Captain Lu and asked, "By the way, where is Sister Shen? Why isn't she here?" As soon as he said this, the smiles on their faces disappeared. After a moment of silence, one of them said softly, "She sacrificed herself 3 months ago." Lu Fan's eyes widened in surprise. "What? I don't understand. What happened?" His voice was filled with anxiety. "How could this be? Tell me everything." Captain Du took a deep breath and began to explain. "We were patrolling that route when suddenly the Blood Moon transformed into its true form. Thick black gas began to billow from the surroundings. A black mist completely surrounded Shenkai. It enveloped her, and her wounds began to worsen, spread rapidly. She screamed in pain, and at that moment I was holding her." He paused, his voice heavy. "Her glasses fell to the ground and broke. I tried to take Chang Kong back to camp for treatment, but it was too late. Before she lost consciousness, she begged me to take her life." Captain Lu's voice trembled as he continued the story. "She was in unbearable pain," he said quietly. "She told me the energy from her dying body was about to consume her. She begged me, 'Captain Lu, kill me quickly before I turn into a servant of the corpse.' Her condition was getting worse every second." He paused, remembering that moment. "Then she said something that completely broke my heart. Her fiancé had died the same way before. She told me she was finally going to meet him again. She looked at me and said, 'Please kill me.'" Captain Lu clenched his fists tightly. "I had no other choice. I couldn't watch her suffer like that, so even though I didn't want to, I closed my eyes, took out my dagger, and did it." His voice grew heavy with guilt. "Everyone says Shen Kai would never blame me," he said, his fists trembling. "But the truth is, she died by my hands." Standing beside him, Chang Kong gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "Captain Lu, don't blame yourself," he said softly. "We all swore that none of us would ever let our comrades become servants of those corpses." Lu Fan slowly clenched his own fist as well. After a moment of silence, he spoke in a calm, quiet voice. "I want to see her. Can you take me there?" "Take me?